At it again, and I got to give Kamala one thing, and that is she was able to raise a whole lot of money to the tune of over $1 billion. Yeah, absolutely insane number right there. $1 billion. It also just shows, where our country is, with Democrats being able to earn that kind of money, but they want to portray as if they're the party of the people and not of the rich elites, but they were able to raise $1 billion in what, 2.5, 3 months? Clearly that's the Republican Party. But we got to talk about that because something interesting recently happened. Check it out. Let's dive in.
We learned two things about Kamala this election. She's good at raising money and she's good at blowing it. But money can't buy you elections, especially when you spend it like she did. She raked in more than $1 billion and is somehow now in debt. The Washington Examiner dug through her financial statements and gave us a good clue why. Kamala's campaign was getting whacked like a piñata while D.C. leeches hoovered up all the cash. She spent over $50 million on payroll. Trump's campaign spent less than 10. Another 12 million went to consultants and 20 million went to their little concerts with Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Christina Aguilera, John Bon Jovi, remember him? They even had to cancel a performance by Alanis Morissette because they were running low on cash. Isn't that ironic? Campaign insiders are mad at the bosses for wasting donor money on concerts instead of ads about, the economy. Quote, they said they were spending to zero. I guess they overshot zero. Ads would have gone a lot further than the pricey celebrity endorsements. One campaign source said people were concerned about their own financial issues, not Oprah telling them America won't exist. But it worked out nicely for Oprah. She got her friend Kamala to pay her $1 million to interview her in September. $1 million. Now, if she thought she was saving democracy, she should have done it for free. Kamala scared donors by calling Trump a dictator, got $1 billion, then just gave it to her friends and blew the rest on being a diva. Kamala went on a podcast, remember Call Her Daddy, but she didn't want to go to their studio in L.A. So she made the host fly to D.C. and used campaign cash to build a fake set in a hotel room. She spent more than $100,000 to build it. That set, see it? 2 chairs, a coffee table, and a bookshelf. That's 6 figures. Now, we looked at the set. We probably could have done it for around $6,000. That's without labor. But where'd the rest of the money go? We don't know. So she's still trying to soak folks for cash. 24 hours after the election, on Wednesday, Democrats got a text from the campaign. Urgent. We need help. Donate now. Help with what? You lost. If this is how she's going to spend her donors' dollars, imagine what she would have done with our taxes.
Facts. How do you raise over $1 billion in less than 3 months and you're broke? Flat broke. Like, she's $20 million in the hole. She burned through over $1 billion. And now she's 20 million in the hole. Like, that is nuts. That is insane. Like, a billion? What? Now, of course, Trump had to chime in, and he posted this, put it on the screen. I'm very surprised that the Democrats who fought a hard and valiant fight in 2020 in the presidential election, I'm assuming he meant 2024, raising a record amount of money, didn't have lots of money left over. Now they are being squeezed by vendors and others. Whatever we can do to help them during this difficult period, I would strongly recommend we as a party, and for the sake of desperately needed unity, do. We have a lot of money left over, and that our biggest asset in the campaign was earned media, and that doesn't cost very much. Make America great again. Now, that seemed like a Trump troll to me. You know, if you ask me, that seemed most definitely like a Trump troll. So some of the numbers that have been released are this, because she was paying these celebrities some exorbitant amounts of money. Allegedly, of course. Allegedly. But these numbers, they're believable, right? These are some of the numbers. So, allegedly, she paid Beyonce $10 million. Oh my goodness. To show up on that stage that day. Megan Thee Stallion, $5 million. Lizzo, $2.3 million. Eminem, $1.8 million. I mean, my goodness. My goodness. That's nearly $20 million for just 4 people. Like, what? What? Oh, man. And people wanted that woman to run the country. Yeah. That's who they wanted to run the show. Now, Kamala's surrogate, Lindy Lee, has come out and completely spilled the beans. And I want to play this for y'all because, woo, does she give some insight? Because this is an insider. So she knows what she's talking about. Y'all got to hear this situation. From the lies that the campaign was telling its donors to the infighting between Kamala and Joe. This is gold right here. This is gold. So get your popcorn ready.
The case against Donald Trump. And if you truly believe that Trump is an existential threat, and that's what Democrats have been saying for the past couple of years, then you should have had that process instead of just coronating somebody.
What is the relationship? What has been the relationship throughout the campaign, and what do you think the relationship is today between Biden world and Kamala Harris world?
Well, I have friends, in both worlds, and let me tell you, the relationship was terrible even before the campaign. There was backstabbing. They wanted to hand her the most, least favorable agenda, the legislative priorities. She was stuck with immigration, civil rights, like none of that went
before
anywhere.
She was even a candidate,
exactly.
You're saying, as vice president.
There was a lot of backstabbing we saw in the press. People were leaking stuff all the time. The White House leaking like a sieve when it came to Kamala Harris. And finally, in the final year, she was able to stabilize and stop the bleeding of her staff because there was a lot of turnover as well. And we saw the press reports about that. And things have finally started to calm down. And I actually think President Biden, the whole endorsing her 30 minutes after he dropped out, I think that was a big FU to the party. You don't want me, here's somebody that you may not like.
Whoo! Y'all remember? I literally made a whole video on this. I was like, bro, this seems like Joe Biden is sabotaging Kamala on purpose. Like, there's just too many coincidences. Like when she had one of her biggest rallies outside of the White House and he decided to have a press conference inside of the White House at the same time. Like that was just like, wait, what? Like, why is he doing this? What is happening? He did that like twice. And the last time, it was just like, this ain't no coincidence. He's doing this on purpose. And now that we got some insight, a little bit of insight there, and she's going to talk about some more there, and we're going to jump back in. But, yeah, him endorsing her immediately after, kind of interesting. You don't want me? Well, you got her. And even if you don't want her, I just endorsed her publicly. So now the whole country has seen that. So you can't skip over her because you have called her black, and you skipping over the black woman is going to look really, really terrible. I even said that. But that's the mantra that they created. They wanted to prioritize skin color over actually being a competent leader. And so that was the bet they made, and they had to lie in it. And Joe Biden made sure that they did. Allegedly, of course.
But deal with it,
Suggesting that he's sticking the party with Kamala
Kind of like
Harris.
sticking it to the man.
Yeah, but help me understand your perspective on that because you worked for Kamala Harris.
I didn't. I'm a donor.
You're a donor.
Technically, I'm not on anyone's payroll. I'm not beholden to anyone. That's why I'm here telling the truth. I'm not here to gaslight anybody. This is just the truth.
And what is the truth?
The truth is this is just an epic disaster. This is a $1 billion disaster. Actually, it was $1 billion, 18 million, I think, right? There were $20 million or $18 million in in debt.
Right.
It's incredible. And I raised millions of that. I have friends that I have to be accountable to and to explain what happened because I told them it was a margin of error race. I was promised, Jen O'Malley Dillon promised all of us that Harris would win. She even put videos out saying that Harris would win. I believed her. My donors believed her. And so they wrote massive checks. I feel like a lot of us were misled. And even on the night of election night, Will, I looked somebody in the eye and I said, are we going to do this? Are we going to pull it off? She told me yes. And I asked somebody else, like, how are you feeling? He's like, we're going to win Iowa. And I was like, what?
Do you think did they believe this going in? Was there a real sense of false confidence on the side of Kamala Harris? Or did they know they were in store for disaster?
I was wondering about that. I was like, I asked them, are you privy to internal numbers that I am not seeing? Because I study this so carefully, and I just wasn't seeing any basis for that level of confidence. And I also want to remind our viewers that, the Trump campaign was touting all of these incredible empirical data weeks before election night. What Harris is touting was the door knocking. She didn't say anything really about early voting. Now I know it's because there was nothing much to say.
Even somebody like me who's still relatively new to politics, and I displayed the videos for you guys, I was like, this doesn't seem right. I feel like the media in these polls are absolutely lying. This race isn't even close. Even if you want to incorporate the most accurate pollsters, they're all in alignment with one another. Every single one of them. The top 4 most accurate pollsters all say Trump, but the rest of the polls all say Kamala? That doesn't make any sense. When I look at all these street interviews, everybody's like Trump, 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 Trump. When I scour social media, it's all great for Trump. When I look at Kamala's interviews, it's like mostly all negative, comments. And I scrolled through some of those so you guys could see, because I'm trying to get the picture in its totality. So I'm looking at this to try to put together an entire picture. And as I'm putting together this entire picture, I'm like, this doesn't look good. But I'm still new to politics, so I was like, maybe there's something that I'm missing. Apparently there wasn't. I was completely on point within my thinking, but I wanted to be a little bit cautious because once again, I'm still relatively new. So anyway, I'll know come 2028.
I asked you what the relationship was between Biden world and Kamala Harris world, and you told me it was bad. It was bad predating the campaign. Where does Obama world fit in this? There's I don't want to break the Democratic Party into these, 3 fiefdoms because there's probably more. Nancy Pelosi is a huge power player, but Barack Obama, the Obama world, is a huge player. How do they fit in the tension or the happiness of Democrats?
That's a really good question. I want to point out that they waited 3 days. Michelle and Barack Obama waited 3 days to endorse Kamala Harris. It was a silence heard around the world. And prior to Biden's endorsement that no one really anticipated, they were vetting people like Mark Kelly. Kamala Harris wasn't at the top of the ticket. So Biden's endorsement of Harris caught a lot of people off guard, even the chieftains of the party. I really think it was a big It was a big F you to everyone. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I think I'm getting a vivid picture.
I didn't finish the word.
Specifically when it comes to why or the effect and perhaps the plan on when Joe Biden endorsed Kamala Harris. Really?
See, I told you. Gold. The Obamas were looking for somebody like Mark Kelly to become the nominee, not Kamala. That's why they were silent for so long. Because they didn't want Kamala. And I remember that. And I think I talked about it in a couple of videos. The Obamas were, suspiciously silent for days. For days. And then all of a sudden they popped out and, endorsed Kamala. Then they did the whole corny, fake, obviously staged, when Kamala hopped on the phone with Obama, but there happened to be a camera right in front of her as she answered the phone. Interesting how that works, but, that whole fake thing. Man. Paid influencers. I'm seeing this report. She paid influencers $4 million, allegedly. Spent $100,000 on the Call Her Daddy set. Incredible. And, they always accuse folks like myself of being paid by the Republican Party. Listen, let me tell you something. I wish Trump was sending, split up $4 million. Let me get a cut. Let me get a check, please. ASAP. Like, what do you mean? I wish, but no. Trump didn't pay anybody. Not a single influencer that I know of. Trump wasn't writing anybody any checks. If he did, hey, he owed me. He owed me something, okay? He owes me some cash. Come on, man. My goodness. But I want to play this clip because Van Jones, he actually gives Democrats a tad bit of truth in this clip, just a touch.
Well, look, we spent $1 billion and elected Donald Trump. That's not a blame game. That's called accountability. And the people at the top of the campaign, the top of the party, have a lot of people pissed off at him because there were people who had suggestions. There were people who were saying, why are we doing this? Why this? It was like, hey, we've got it. We've got this special magical computer formulation. We've tested every ad. Shut up and sit down and go back to work. And so people said, okay, well, yeah, I guess you're right. And then we got clobbered, clocked, knocked down, beat up, drugged down. That's not blame game. That's accountability.
Accountability. I mean, and I know you're for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
And I believe they technically, blew a few hundred million of that in the recent weeks, Andrew Yang, and now ended up technically maybe in debt, a little bit.
And now ended up technically maybe in debt, a little bit.
How sad is that? Yeah. We dodged the bullet with that one. She burned through $1 billion and is now $20 million in debt. In 3 months. 3 months. She spent $50 million on her staff alone. 50 M's on her staff. Paid all these celebrities to the tune of $20 million plus to show up. I have a sneaky suspicion that these celebrity endorsements, they're a thing of the past. Because we clearly saw that they mean absolutely nothing. Zero. And that's their own fault. They have overplayed the celebrity endorsement game. Oh, we got all these celebrities backing us, blah, 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 blah. Look, see? Look, your favorite influencer is backing us. Your favorite celebrity is behind us. So, they're always behind you, Democrats. Every single 4 years. Every time. It's like clockwork. They all come out and say the same things. We're on to you now. It's easy to see. Man, y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions. This is crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. $1 billion, just burn through it. Like, what? Like, give me $1 billion. Sheesh, I could have ran her campaign better than what they did. Seriously, I could have done a better job. But all the signs were there. All the signs were there. Sheesh. Peace and love. I'm out.